Please welcome commercetools Chief Executive Officer, Andrew Burton.
Good morning. Good morning. Something is definitely in the air. Hopefully you had a chance to get out to the beach or walk around this morning. It is an exciting day. And I was thinking about this morning as I walked over here. It was a little hot. But I was thinking about this excitement in the air. And I was thinking, oh, what is it about? And I'll admit, I'm probably a little bit older than a lot of people in the room. But I remember when the browser came out. And people said, what are you going to do with it? What can I do with this browser? Oh, you can browse around and see what's on. And now, what do we know? Digital first experiences are how people are experiencing the world, and they use their browsers. When the iPhone came out, right? Do you remember when you first saw the iPhone? You're like, what can I do with it? Well, you can listen to music. Now there's an entire ecosystem of apps and services to make your life more convenient. AI. We're going to talk a lot about AI today. We're going to talk about what can you do with it. In my case, if you would indulge me for a moment, I'll walk you through the default, I think, experience that most people are using AI for, which is search. I need to go find something. I need to go look for something. And in my case, I thought, I'm going down to South Beach. I'm out of Boston. So what if I was looking for a car? I want to go cruising on South Beach. And I thought to myself, you know what? I probably want something hip, flashy, maybe not too fancy. But I inherently would go say, what would you traditionally do, right? So historically, you would go out, bring up your browser, type in a few things. You see the indexed, any search engine marketing or marketing professionals out there. This has been the last 15 years, maybe. People figuring out how to index and get their stuff at the top. And then obviously there were ads and whatnot. So you can see some examples here, right? I go and say, oh, the ultimate guide, right? When you click the ultimate guide, you see some static content, talks about what's going on. This is the world we lived in for many, many years, right? And then you click around, you say, okay, what else is there? I might find, this is University Mitsubishi. I don't know why the Mitsubishi people are talking about Camaros and Mustangs, but this was kind of our world, right? Now what's interesting is for every 2 searches, generally speaking, a person would click through once. So 2 to 1, right? So you're out there, and that's kind of the model we all lived in. If you have a product or a service, or you were out there trying to promote something, you do a lot of search engine marketing, and that worked, right? Well, in the air, last November, something changed, right? Hopefully everybody saw this. It was a pretty exciting change, but it was very subtle. And if many of you have looked at any website traffic, you saw a dramatic drop. And not just in BD, but across the 90% of the world's search traffic goes through Google. And so most people logged into Google in November and said, what happened? The ratio changed, 6 to 1. 6 searches to 1 click-through. And we all saw now AI being enabled, and by default, in the prompt. Very helpful, right? So now people are getting what they need. There's a little bit of context. In my case, well, if I want to go rent my convertible, I'm going to bring my dog along. I'm looking for a dog-friendly car, right? So what do I get? I get a little dog friendliness, I get a little comfort, I get a little style. Pretty interesting, right? Now, if you notice, if you look down here a little bit further, you see that there are some cars being referenced. The EOS, the Mini. There are even some rental car companies, right? Now, in my search, I use Sixt. I'm a big fan of Sixt. Sixt wasn't referenced, and I like BMWs, right? I trust BMWs. I've gotten to really appreciate them. And if you're one of those providers of service, you get a question, well, wait a minute. My world is changing. This reimagination, whether I like it or not, is dramatically changing. So now, where would I go next, right? If you're going out to, you want to go to South Beach, you want to get a car, where would I have gone next? ChatGPT, right? An emergence of a new player. The paradigm fundamentally shifts once more. Some of the studies out there, and actually some of the CDN networks, are actually have the stats, 250 to 1 is actually probably generous. There's some numbers that are 400, 500 to 1, meaning your content now is being curated, tailored to what you put in. And this is changing all our lives. In my case, I put a little, say, hey, I'm heading down to South Beach. I want a dog. My dog's Willie, right? So I'm thinking, I want to put that in a little bit. This stock photo, this is literally the search, screenshot, right? They actually put a golden retriever in the car, right? It's a stock photo somewhere. But not soon, it'll be completely tailored and personalized. Now, so there's the golden retriever. It kind of resonates with me, right? Recommend some cool spots. I've never been to Ocean Drive or South Point Park. I'm sure they're around here somewhere, but maybe I want to check them out now. I no longer have to go read the travel blog or whatever the case may be. Pet-friendly policies, Avis, Enterprise, Sixt. I'm like, wait a minute. I mentioned Sixt earlier. And the cars, again, probably similar cars, right? But again, the BMW, that weekend special, not referenced. It's referenced later at the bottom. You'll see it. But this is all dynamically generated. Pretty straightforward. Hopefully nothing, if you haven't really thought through this, maybe you're like, Andrew, I get it. But what this shift is really exciting, because did anyone see the news yesterday? Anybody know what happened yesterday? Google I/O had AI mode. Again, Google processes 90% of the internet's traffic with searches. AI mode came out. And AI mode removes the blue links. AI mode and some of the technologies, and it's not just Google, it's all Amazon, Microsoft, all the big players are doing massive amounts of innovation. And one of the things they talked about is you can upload a photo of yourself and do virtual try-on. I haven't tried it yet, but I said, well maybe I can upload a photo of my dog and I, and soon we'll have autonomous, someone will take my dog for a ride for me. So Willie and I did get a car, and we were able to go for a ride. And I'm a long way from Don Johnson and Miami Vice Cool. But it highlights this example of this reimagination, this change from the browser to mobile to AI. Now, this is a cute story, right? Like, okay, Andrew, I get it. Funny story, cute dog, whatever the case may be. Now let's pull the covers back a little bit. In the air, what's in the air? Innovation, excitement, reimagination. There's a test, right? With the graduate level proof Q&A prompt. Last 90 days, right? So there's a prompt. If you're a PhD in your domain, there's a set of questions you get asked, right? PhD is pretty smart. I'm not a PhD. But you get asked in your domain, and generally 74% of the questions, you get them right? It's pretty good. If you're a PhD in, let's say, biology, and you get asked questions in another area, what is your accuracy level? Well, 33%. Pretty good, pretty smart people. ChatGPT-4, just, a few months ago, was achieving 39%. So it was, it's kind of basically, you'd say, hey, if I really need something, science, whatever the case may be, some expertise, some intelligence, I would go find a PhD, and that'd be the right person to go talk to, right? Claude 3, 60%. Now the OpenAI O3 model is 88%. It's the first time in the last 90 days the AI models outscored the PhDs. 90 days. It's pretty amazing, right? Now, there's a lot of commentary in the press, right? How deep is it? Where are we going? The point is the pace of innovation, the pace of how the internet emerged, the pace of which mobile emerged, the pace of which AI emerged, right? So I personally love this concept of intelligence as a service. We talk about software as a service, intelligence as a service. Changes the entire paradigm. Now what's interesting, if you pull this back, the first one I'm hitting on is the intelligence side, the IQ, the reasoning, the complex tasks, the decision-making, the problem-solving, pretty straightforward. But as we think about commerce and reimagining commerce, there are other attributes that we're going to be faced with and we're going to be utilizing. EQ. We talk about it in people, all of us, right? We talk about EQ. Empathy, awareness, social interactions, human interactions. building that into the AI models. The adaptability, the flexibility. What if something changes, right? An agent deployed involved in a marketplace. Commerce in a marketplace, inherently dynamic. The adaptability is also being indexed. So it's not just the pace of intelligence, it's the pace of can we adapt? So EQ, IQ. And then obviously there's some other cues. I'm not going to go through each one of these. Creativity, ethical. Somebody might try to buy something on my credit card. Is that ethical? Is the model going to let you? Dirk might have my credit card somewhere. Just a little pin drop for later. So there's all types of aspects. So when you think about AI and you think about this reimagination of commerce, what I want to highlight here in my little simple example is it's not just for search. Just like the mobile wasn't just for music or phone calls, right? And this reimagination, we're going to have some very exciting news. And Dirk and Sherry, when they come out, are going to share some exciting product announcements. I've been told I won't scoop them. However, when we start thinking about what's next and what our customers and what each of us expect, there is a fundamental change that's going to occur. And the alternatives, or the legacy models, are going to fade. My argument would be pretty quickly. And the legacy, first, pretty straightforward, personalized. Are we going to go to the static, or do we get more personalized? Do we get more dynamic, right? Trusted. Many of the brands, many of the customers here, I love this business. I love working with all of you because we are out there not just building commerce, we're building experiences, we're creating brands, and we're delivering those experiences that build trust. And convenience. I'm going to share a couple of really exciting examples. It's always hard to figure out which example to highlight because there's just so many, right? But convenience, whether there's some folks here from the UK that I've talked quite a bit with. We got some people speaking later. Nick, for example, talks about convenience and the mission of people. In retail, people are using distribution centers to deliver better convenience and to put distribution centers in the stores. This convenience is a huge opportunity in removing that complexity. So I told my daughter, I was coming down to give a keynote, and I said, hey, there are all these great brands, all these great customers we had. One of them, Sephora. Right? And Bryn, my daughter, loves Sephora. And she loves them because, again, there's this relationship. She knows and she expects. They know her, she knows them. She's got that trust, that relationship, that bond. And there's a tremendous experience. And we're incredibly fortunate to be working with Sephora. I mentioned BMW. So I'm a big fan of BMW. I discovered them later in life. But it's not just the ride, the engineering. Incredible customer of ours. They're talking about building the relationship directly with the consumer. Still leveraging the dealer network, still leveraging everything that's out there, but building, like Tesla, fixed prices, relationships out to the front end, and really leveraging digital-first experiences to create that relationships. The app, the car, multiple channels of engagement, pretty cool. Now, I showed you Willie and the example of the dog example. So in PetSmart's case, we have convenience. Some interesting stats with PetSmart. You have a pet. Maybe they need a treat. Maybe they ran out of dog food. In my case, this is a cute dog, right? So this can be that 90% of PetSmart's orders are filled within 300 miles, and 70% within 20. Right? That means you can get something when you need it, and when you get there, increasingly, is what you're looking for in the store. Great brands, great experiences, convenience, and incredible benefit. Now, I thought this one's a really cool one. We were chatting about this last night. Wegmans. I love Wegmans. It's an experience. Great food, fresh food. Anybody the cheese board? You guys know what a cheese board is? Yeah? Right, you walk in, there's really cool cheeses. You got someone there talking about how do you represent a cheese board online in a digital world, right? So connection across industry where all these experiences aren't just in the traditional models, but now you've got grocery, you got food and beverage, you got people dealing with omni-channel, multi-channel, real engagement. It's incredibly exciting. I love the Wegmans example. I'm so proud and so just excited to have Wegmans working with us. Because, again, how do we deliver this unifying experiences to get that cheese board better represented in a virtual world, right? Now, this goes cross-industry, right? Bausch & Lomb, I am a contact lens wearer. The eye care professionals, how do they engage digitally? Again, connection, a lot of people think of commercetools and they think, oh, a retail B2C scenario, but we've got all these opportunities, all of us together, to create experiences that cross channels. So the eye care professional linked into Bausch & Lomb, linked into connection, trust, loyalty, engagement. And then, of course, relevance. Now, I put them in because in a lot of B2B, I think there's a fair number of people in here. I love B2B. Let me say it again. I love B2B because it's the digitizing of experiences for some of the most critical, important customer relationships. Loyalty, trust, convenience. I love this example because, again, it's an example of connection across industry, the touch points at any point. So let me go a little bit further here. Think about the reimagination, right, of what's possible. Now, if we think about the reimagination, and I don't know about you, but similar when I first saw the iPhone, the browser, and now AI, hopefully the first time you saw commercetools, you said, well, what can I do with it? And naturally, most people say, well, I can use it to sell some things. But now, you can do much more than that. And Dirk and Sheer are going to share some examples. But what you can't do is take a legacy, outdated approach. You know all those examples I gave? Anybody carrying a Nokia phone? I had one, don't judge me. Flip phone, it was kind of cool. I don't even know what that thing is, right? My point is the legacy approaches, and I'm not here to bash an alternative. I'm here to talk about a fundamental shift in the models where if you historically, and I've been in tech my entire career, in a lot of those years, I was doing product work. And classic product work in the traditional old school world was we're going to build everything, and some stuff we're going to be excellent. Some stuff will just be good enough. And that's okay because our excellent stuff will compensate for the good enough. There's some stuff, yeah, we just can't get to right now. And those decisions were forced on you because you bought the packaged software. It was rigid, it was bundled, it was slow, it was very expensive, generally speaking. It was expensive not just to buy, but if you said, well, can I have it do this? Can I change the intent from what someone like me or someone like another software or product or technologist would have designed it for? What if I want to do something different? Am I locked in? And so these legacy approaches, especially in this agentic era, are going to be a totally different approach. And we're going to talk about today, and again, we're going to share some of the things that we're doing, but this idea of unified commerce. We've heard it, work with the term, but let me just explore this a little bit further with you. But first, when we think about the dynamics, right? And many of you, the cheese board, right? The car, the beauty products. Now we've got this fundamental question. Let's talk about the first one. It's what is practically my favorite because it's brand-led. I'm not a great marketeer, but I love marketing. I love brand because it's about creating something magical that people affiliate with. So conversational commerce, AI assistance, generative experiences, these are all about your brand being better expressed and better conveyed, right? It's going to be a lot of cool innovation there, a lot of exciting innovation, right? You're going to see it. You're going to see examples of it today. You'll hear about it tomorrow. And that's what many of us are talking about. However, we have an emergence. We heard it, or hopefully you haven't read about it. The hyperscalers, the cloud providers, software companies, people all over the tech landscape are working on this idea of agent-led. What if the agent, whether it's Copilot or Chat or Perplexity or pick, there's going to be more and more, are doing things on your behalf? How does that interact with your brand? And these aren't binary. These are this is a range of channels. Now, you say, okay, well, let's go back to the cheese board, right? If in an online world, that digital experience, you say, okay, well, in an online world, I got to think about how to engage that. But what do we know? What are some of the most powerful, convenient experiences? And again, you're going to hear about these, is I got to operate in a multi-channel world, right? So now I got to balance these dynamics. And you know what? What do we all know? There's many more, right? Because we got to bring these together. But the challenge, and I was talking with one of our longest customers, a very large customer, and they were telling me, it's like, Andrew, but you know what's great? Is I have the opportunity to really take all this together. And I can also bring in my preference of the tool or provider that I want to augment this, right? So content, lots of great content providers that can provide very specialized or target things. So our customers get the choice. They can craft the experiences that work best for them. Fair enough. Search, we have some great search partners. Algolia, Constructor, pretty straightforward. Payments, great payment partners. You'll see this. We've talked about the payment hub. We're doing a lot more, make it plug and play. So again, you get to have this unified commerce. Now you've taken the first set of things, and now we're blending it together, right? Pretty straightforward. And now we've got AI. The emergence of AI, the emergence of data models. And these are not alone. In many instances, there's 3 to 4x the level of what's going on in your commerce systems flowing through into other systems, right? So this now creates an interesting world. Now, what do we all want to do? I don't know about you, but if you make an investment and it's fixed, and then it becomes an anchor or a liability, that's a problem. So this isn't about just composability. This is about each of those little boxes. Can I sit here today, or can anyone? And I was talking to one of the large hyperscalers, and they, it was a casual, informal interaction. We may have been having a cocktail. And I said, where do you think this goes? He said, to be honest with you, Andrew, we're trying to figure it out. So in an age of innovation, the age of something in the air that is exciting, I would argue the last 15 years has been kind of boring. We've gone through a lot, but on the tech landscape, we have got one of the most, in my opinion, and I think in a lot of people's opinions, one of the most transformative changes occurring around AI. It's going to disrupt a lot, but when we think about unifying commerce and future-proofing it, there are 3 things I want to highlight as commerce tools. What are we thinking about? First, I've hit on this quite a bit, hyper-personalized experiences, driving growth. Hopefully we can all agree that in driving growth, personal experiences that are engaging, that know you, that are relevant, loyalty programs, many of you have implemented loyalty programs and you see these benefits firsthand. So I don't think I need to preach on this, I'll highlight this, but it highlights the importance of across any channel, right? Pretty straightforward. The second, I've also hit on the intelligence revolution. When every person has access to intelligence via that mobile phone, via everybody. It's not concentrated in one market, one industry. You can all benefit from intelligence. So harnessing AI, and there's a lot of excitement, a lot of hype, but harnessing AI for smarter decisions, faster decisions, and better decisions, right? Deepening customer value. If you haven't done it, leverage it. I talked to many people since being here in the last couple days, and there are some exciting examples. There's going to be some great stories. I hope you'll pick up some of these examples, but this idea of the intelligence revolution is going to change our industry. And then, obviously, the composable imperative. Talking to other CEOs, I was out in the valley talking to someone, and it's interesting. A lot of companies are trying to take the heads off their software stacks. They're trying to be like, well, suddenly we've got to make this more accessible. We've got to make sure the APIs and the systems are more accessible. We've got to make sure the data people can work with. The composable imperative is critical because, again, you don't want that sea anchor. You don't want to be tied down into legacy, outdated, hardened solutions, right? So the ability to adapt to new business models. So where does that lead us? It leads us with this example. Many people look at it and say, is this about replacing people? Absolutely not. It's empowering, creating new frontiers, new excitement. Personally, inside of commerce tools, I've seen in the last month especially, and even the last couple of weeks, people leveraging AI and doing things that they're like, wow, it's not just the engineers, the marketeers, people in all aspects, leveraging AI, it's empowering, giving people the opportunity to stand on those shoulders of giants. Now, what does that allow us to do? Not just respond, but more importantly, to anticipate. I'll give you an example. Just the other day, I was going into a meeting, and I was like, before I go to this meeting, I'm just going to ask the ChatGPT, I'm going to ask Gemini, I'm going to ask a few things, like, hey, what are the things I should be thinking about? We showed up, and we had a great conversation, because now I have anticipated some things that can occur. Our customers, our consumers, are out there doing research. They're going to have agents in agentic commerce helping them anticipate and think about what they need. And delivering these personalized journeys. At the end of the day, I love the cheese board. I hope you don't mind indulging me on this cheese board, because those personalized journeys, people are on the journey into. That's the reason I love grocery. Love food and beverage examples, because it's this connection, but this idea of personalizing journeys at scale. And so today, as I wrap it up, we talk a lot about connection, talk a lot about loyalty, talk a lot about choice. Many of you are already doing this. You're like, yes, we're on the frontier. We are a frontier firm. We are doing frontier commerce. I appreciate you working with us to do that, because we're out there with you as partners. The team at commercetools often gives me a hard time, because I like to use the term co-creation. Last night, I ran into one of our customers walking by, and he said, Andrew, they were trying to do this example of bursting commerce orders in a second. Thousands and thousands and thousands. They said, well, look, we need a stress test. We're going to do a promotion. And they just had their best promotion they've ever had, and they had it with us just this spring. And it's exciting. But you know what was exciting? Commerce is human. Commerce is about creating this connection. We're delivering the back ends, the infrastructure, the technology, and the business value with you, so that you can also deliver those experiences for your customers. And in whatever industry you're in, I personally am so excited, because any customer touch point, again, any touch point, whether you're B2B, B2C, healthcare, telco, media, retail, grocery, you pick your example, there's a reimagination that's occurring. You're going to see an example here with Dirk and Shiri. It's pretty cool, but it's also just the beginning. So with that said, I'd like to invite out Dirk and Shiri. Thank you.